Please help me welcome to the stage from Neshannock Station, New Jersey, Founders Double Diamonds, Manipal and Renuka, Reddy!
I appreciate this welcome here. How is everyone here, guys? One more time, how is everyone? Are you fired up? I mean, it was one of the best functions, man. I'll tell you what, since afternoon, we could see the energy. We can see the love, the energy, the enthusiasm, and people coming here dancing like crazy. My goodness, I'll tell you what, folks, this has been one of the highest energy functions. Do you feel that? And we're just getting started. Yes, sir. I mean, I'm Manipal. This is Renuka. But just to give a little background about ourselves, folks, when we got launched in the business, I was 27, she was 25. And this was quite some time back, And our background is, folks, we both came here to study. I did my master's in NJIT in computer science. And that's when I met my sponsor, Sudhir Solapurkar. He was my roommate. And, Sudhir definitely was, a couple of things I always say about Sudhir is really one of those fun-loving guy for sure, very brainy guy, and it didn't take. I don't think it took a lot for Sudhir to launch us in the business, because we both were open-minded. When the opportunity got presented to us, it didn't really take a whole lot for us to sign the dotted line, and now everything is online. But about 25 plus years back, everything was on paper. And some of you cannot imagine that. Some of you must be thinking, how did you really do? Yes, we had to do a lot of paperwork. We had to do. And anyhow, guys, we came to America for studies, got ourselves, for our first job was in Bell Communications Research for me and both of us. From then on, moved on to AT&T and Bell Labs, and then got launched in the business. And then Sudhir, I remember the time that Sudhir took us to Madhu and Praveen's place, where initial days of our building the business was literally, we grew up in Praveen and Madhu's house and learning about products and learning about everything about basics of the business, to be frank. Everything about the basics, our fundamentals got cleared right there. And in fact, what a phenomenal talk that Madhu Chedda gave this afternoon, man. Don't you think so? I mean, every time Madhu comes to speak to us, every time she keeps talking, she keeps on getting better and better. And brand new EDCs, that's amazing. The kind of business that they have, that's amazing. Even though Praveen passed on, quite some time back, their business is flourishing. That's the reason we call this as a multi-generational business. And after that, once we got launched, once we got to get to know Praveen and Madhu, and then we started going to the meetings, and that's when I met Kanti and Radha for the first time. And then, eventually, as we kept coming back to the meetings, the one thing about us was, right from day one, at least from my side, I took the business seriously. Nobody had to motivate me to come to meetings. Nobody had to motivate me to read. Nobody had to motivate me that I should use the products. Nobody had to really motivate me to do anything, because one thing that I have done, I have not done everything right, but certain things that I've done is I took the ownership of the business pretty much right from very beginning days. We may not done everything right for sure. I'm sure we made quite a few mistakes along the way, but I take pride in saying that the ownership of the business, nobody had to force upon us. Nobody had to motivate us, because we figured out this, this is my business. Yes, upline is part of my business, but eventually, an upline only has some role to play, So eventually, again, of course, our lives have completely changed when we got into the inner circle with Kanti and Lata Gala. And everybody knows about their business success and how they have been, impacting people's lives around the world, not just in America, in many countries. Okay, Kanti and Lata, I'll tell you what, since the time that we know, one thing that I know about them is, I have never seen a couple that are more consistent, steady, and I had never seen both of them ever getting angry. The reason that they have their crowns today is not by accident. But what a phenomenal example that Kanti and Lata have set to all of us. And when Bill Britt was alive, Bill openly claimed and told in front of all of us that Kanti has been one of his best students in business. Kanti has been one of the best students in business. Folks, the reason that we have what we have is, when we started building the business, when we did start whatever we needed to do the business, we never thought the business we imagined that business is going to last. In fact, once it took about 10 months for us to go silver, and then, right away straight we went platinum. When we go platinum, corporation invites us to the headquarters. We got a chance to visit the company. When we saw the company, I'll tell you what, that was, I would say, a big change in our attitude towards the business. Until that time, all we knew was we are only using the products. But when we physically went there to see the company, to see the employees, to see everything that they have, was something amazing, folks. And we are super excited about what company has offered us. Really, they manufacture the best of the best products, satisfaction guarantee, and everything about the company is super for sure. And that's the reason, guys, professionals like us, we're willing to commit. We're willing to pay the price, because we never thought this is something short term or 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. When we understood the potential of the business, when we knew that, what the company has done, and now this third generation is coming, So when we see all the changes that are happening along the company, when we see the transition that's happening, when we see how the company is adopting to the changes, adopting to the technology and everything, guys, that gives us a lot of security. We are definitely super excited about our future, and guys, you should be excited about your future, so for sure. I'm telling you, I'm so fortunate to be married to this girl here, and in spite of whatever mistakes that I do, and I'll tell you what, she is the one who really gives me a lot of encouragement, and she always believed in my ability to move on. She always kept saying that I can do this. If we did not have the support from her, I would not be able to go out and do whatever I have done, guys. So it's very, very important to earn the trust and the respect from your spouse. And I'm so happy that I have her support. Here is renuka reddy.
Thank you, Manipal, and happy 2020 to each and every one of you. It seems like 2020, when we were growing up, seemed like such a futuristic year. It was like we almost visualized 2020 where everything would be automated, and like something like very far away, and it didn't seem, but it just came round the corner for us. And just like everything else in life, it's just around the corner. When we got started and went to one of our first meetings, I remember a speaker saying, you will have people in your team who are not born yet. And I used to find that such a weird statement because, you know what, we could not see ourselves that long, you know, into the future, far ahead into the future. And today, our very own children are in the business. And I can ask, you know, how many of you are less than 27 years old? You know? So you were not born when we...
Get up one time, can you get up one time? Just let's see.
Get up, yeah. Let me see. How many of you are 27 and under? Let me see how many are 30 and under. This is an amazing organization, guy. It's more than 3/4 of the auditorium here. Because you know what? That is the envy of corporations out there. Because youth bring in energy, youth bring in, you know, excitement, and you know, youth bring in a lot of excitement about the next 20, 30, 40 years. Because you know what? When we go out today, we are looking for people who were like us 25 years back. And that's exactly what we are looking for, guys. So excited, you know, that our kids are in the business. And it didn't happen by accident. Both our kids were born after we started the business. And you know what? I retired from my job as an IT consultant when Keshav was born. And Keshav is here building a business with a team here. And you know what? When our kids were growing up, it was a deliberate effort that we put in to make sure they were around this environment. They were around the people. Even when we had PACE meetings at our home, for the short amount of time when we were speaking, they would be upstairs in their rooms. But the moment the teaching was over, they would come out and hang around with the rest of the team. That is how they got to know everyone. I remember Keshav coming, I think it was one of his first FEDs when he came to see Praveen and Madhu's hands being raised as new diamonds. And you know, and he kept, for him, his favorite speaker of all time was Praveen Chedda. You know, and he remembers how did they get influenced? Why did they want to be around this business? They knew what the fruit on the tree was. You know, when Keshav, we never forced our kids to join the business or become part of this. You know, it was something they wanted to do. And that is the beauty of it, guys. And, you know, I can share so many stories, you know, about how today, you know, just because they're building the business, that does not mean that they come into it as with a sense of entitlement. You know, just like every IBO out there, when Keshav and Kedar attend business functions, they are standing in line out there just like each and every one of you. Just because we are diamonds and up, they don't feel a sense of entitlement to come and sit backstage with us or eat with us in the diamond lounge. Yes, there were times when they were young, we did take them to diamond clubs, and they enjoyed that for a long time. Today, they refuse to come to diamond clubs because they want to earn it. And that is the value we most cherish. I remember I can share so many stories of our kids coming to diamond clubs. You know, when they were young, I remember going to Grand Wiley, you know, and with Keshav, he was probably about 6 or 7 years old. And then we are checking out after Diamond Club was done, and Manipal looks at the bill, and there's an order for almost 80 lava flow drinks. And 80. And in the 4 days, it's impossible for him to have had that many. And so Manipal asked, what happened? Oh, Dad, it's not a big deal. You know, you just sit in that lawn chair by the pool, you lift up the flag, and the waitress comes and you order. And I ordered for the all our cross-line buddies, and Ryan and Kevin were there, and for all of them he kept ordering, and that's how it got there. You know, but you know what? They were little kids. Sorry, Keshav, no more lava flows until you come and pay for it yourself at Diamond Club. You know, but you know what? There were so many things I can share about them. You know, when they were going through college, I have to share this because when they were going through college, we had given them our credit cards for expenses. Manipal and I would monitor where the money is going. Just because we have money, we didn't teach them to make sure they spent it wisely. So we would see all these bills for Uber, and I said, Starbucks and then Uber. I said, do you really need that many coffees? And where are you going that your Uber bills are so high? And you know what? Today, when he's living by himself, the first thing he did when he got a job was gave back our credit card and said, thank you, Mom and Dad, for treating me so well all these years and paying for my education. But you know what? From today onwards, I'm going to maintain everything, manage everything with my own money and live my own life. And, prove to you that it was worth every penny that you spent on me. And you know what? Today, many times, and on Sunday nights, we do conference calls in our home. And, after 10 o'clock, he has to head back to Manhattan to start work the next day. And many times we go and drop him. We feel it is our special time with him. But many times when he takes the train back at such a late hour, I tell him, why don't you take the Uber and go? I don't mind paying for it. And he refuses it. And Manipal told me one thing. He said, you know what? We have to give him an opportunity to struggle just the same way we struggled in our life. Just the same way. Because if you're giving him an opportunity to succeed, they should have the equal opportunity to fail and pick themselves up too. I remember going to visit Praveen and Madhu before Kedar went off to college. And I remember Praveen sitting him down and Kedar down and saying, I want you to get a good education, but I also want you to get a job and live by yourself and then build the business. Because that is the way you will be able to relate to other person out there in the field. When they are talking about their struggles, you will know what they're talking about. If you never went through that struggle, you can never relate to them. And that was a very important advice, and we so appreciate that. Just little things, guys. Just the same way, many corporations, they let the next generation take on the business. But in our business, it has to be earned. Leadership is earned. It cannot just be, it's not like something that you can just hand over our business to them and say, you are now the leader of this organization. They have to earn it. And we strongly believe in that.
Yeah, folks, in our business, as you could see, it is very much family oriented, right? We always, husband, wives together. As kids grow up, they could be part of the business too. Families that stay in business together over generations have an articulated sense of family vision, values, and goals. I'll tell you what, as our kids have seen us grow in the business. Kids had seen us struggle in the business. Kids had seen us setting goals and missing goals. Just because we are founders double diamond, it did not happen overnight. And it's a steady progress. And the question is, what do you hope to accomplish as a family? It's a family business for us, for sure. Keshav is building his own business too. But as Renuka said, he very well knows that he will have trust and respect when he has achieved his own individual dreams and goals, individual pin. That's very, very important. Yes, eventually the businesses can be merged and the businesses can be passed on. But the thing is, folks, if there's no struggle, there's no victory. If there's no struggle, there's no values being passed on for sure. And we have got a wonderful family. Look at what Bill Britt has done. And look at the history of Britt Worldwide Educational System also. Bill Britt had no kids. But about almost 50 years back, the educational system has been started. Okay, but Bill knew that he was not going to live forever. So what he has done is he has chosen his 5 top businesses. Now we call as MOC, Management Operating Committee, headed by Kanti and Paul and Angelo and Kumar and Raj. And all, smart businesses and smart and heavy businesses, not just brain wise, but also in terms of what the content that they've created. So he was able to pass on his knowledge, Bill Britt's knowledge, and knowledge, the thought process, the decision making ability, so many things when Bill was alive. I truly believe from that Bill generation to the next generation of the Galas and the Millers, and he was able to do that. And then these people, they are also in the lookout, and also I'm sure when they move on, they look for younger generation for sure. And when we see all the youth coming here, I'll tell you folks, for us, when we see the young generation coming here, and I get to go to New York once in 5 to 6 weeks or so because Keshav is building the business there. I see Keshav's team, I see Ryan's team, I see some of these people's teams there, how they're building up. The average age in their team is 23 or 24 or 22. Folks, what I'm trying to tell you folks is, in the long run, I see initially, yes, you start the business for your own individual needs. Initially, I'm sure most of you will be happy if you make an extra $400, extra $1,000. Let that be the initial goal. But later on, as you reach certain pin levels in the business, as you are able to learn the process and talk to people and develop leadership qualities and develop some relationship ability and all these things, the dreams and goals do get bigger and bigger. And then that's what need to happen. And that's what I'm saying. For us, the same thing. It was no different. It's not that when we signed up the application, we never imagined that both of us, Manipal and Renuka, could be free, full-time, building the business. It was a gradual process. Now we see the business as a multi-generational because we are good observers of people, what the company has done. What the Brit Worldwide Educational has done, what Bill Britt has done, what Kanti is doing. You know what I'm saying, folks? So that is all our sense of security here.
I'll tell you one thing is, I know we are in January of 2020, everybody's ready to set some goals and what to do and what not to do. But one thing I will ask you guys is, how many of you have goals that say, I should do this? Most of you would have written down goals. How many of you have goals that say, I must do this? How many of you have goals that say, I just can't wait to do this? And that is going to be the difference between what you're going to accomplish this year and what you're not going to. Because if you're going to be inspired to have goals like, I just can't wait to get there or do that or have that, that is what is going to move you forward. And that's what we have done. There was never a doubt in our mind when on our journey to Diamond. Initially, I know many of you know our story. I was not too enthusiastic about this business, but once I got on board, there was no two ways about it. We had jobs, we had everything going, we had 2 young kids, but we knew this was what we had to do and get done. So there was nothing stopping us from reaching our goals. And you know what? That's how we moved on. And when we promised our kids that we were going Diamond, there was no going back on our word. And we were very passionate about our dreams, guys. One thing is, as you set goals and you are in process oriented towards achieving your goal, don't lose don't lose sight of your vision. What is your vision? What is your actual dream and goal? What do you want to accomplish? That is very, very important. And don't underestimate the power of a story. Because today you heard many speakers on stage. You heard about their backgrounds. You heard so many things. But what is the commonality between all of them is their story. Story about overcoming failures and moving on to victories. And that is, what is your story? We all would love to hear your story. Because you know what? Without struggle, there's no victory. And you know what? If somebody tells you it's going to come easy, just run away from them. This business is a struggle. It takes time. It takes, persistency, consistency, and your willingness and your tenacity to pick yourself up. Do you have it in you? Is 2020 your year? And that's what, set goals, recently I had Ravi and Indu Sindhya did a wonderful talk at our open meeting about goals, and I will share the same thing with you. When we talk about this business, when we talk about it, this environment, yes, life was out of balance when we were chasing the diamond ship. Yes, life was out of balance in certain ways at certain points, but overall, if I look back at our lives, was it in balance? It was. And that is the beauty about it. Set goals in all areas: health, relationships, wealth, recreation, and personal development. I'll tell you, you heard many people talk about this. But let me also talk about certain things. In health, have goal for nutrition, exercise, and sleep. Yes, our life was out of balance when we were going diamond. Guys, we didn't know whether we were coming or going and how many hours we slept. But you know what? Today we make up for it. Relationships, communication. Manipal talked about the average age of the organization that was growing, and that is beautiful in their 20s. Today, when I look at growing organization, the commonality between all those organizations is communication with their growing upline or mentor. Can you increase your communication? Can you accept people for who they are and not mold them into something you want them to be? Can you forgive and move on? Goals related to wealth. Can you increase your income from this business? Why not? Guys, networking is only one avenue of increasing your income. You can do it through retail and other ways too. Why not? Increase your income, and manage your income wisely. Have a goal for recreation. I'm not talking about taking long vacations, but you know what? It's more important about you doing something for yourself and replenishing yourself, but most importantly, it's about who you do it with. That's also equally important, so that the negative influences don't get to you. Again, personal development, keep it simple. I know we write these big goals about different things you have to do. I want to keep it simple. Add a good habit, give up a bad habit. Can we do that? We can just two things, and that's all we did, guys. Just try to get better, little bit better each day of our lives. We are by no means perfect. By no means have we done everything right. But you know what? We made sure that over the period of time that we did more right than wrong. And that's why we are here. And here's Manipal.
Yeah, guys, for us, I'm telling you, the few things that are very, very important for us is the values and the relationships. It's not just building the business and getting a pen. And if you build a business, if no relationship within the organization, no relationships within teams, no love within the team, and if there are no standards, no value, what do you really stand for? Do you want to build it right? That's some of the things that you need to keep asking, guys. And today you have seen our function started with brand new diamonds, Saji and Sushma. And I'll tell you folks, you heard their story in FED, and again, in their case, their son Rijul is actively pursuing the business, is already a platinum, and very much involved in the business. I'll tell you folks, the beautiful thing about this multi-generational business, guys, is for us, what we bring is experience. Real life examples. The age. Folks, age and real life experience and experiences and examples, what we go through, When we share that we don't have to share all of them, all the information with our children, everything in one time. But that is the repository information that we have in our minds, we have gone through. And some of them we are able to solve situations. Some of them we know how others solve the situations. And that is something that's more valuable to the youngsters. When youngsters keep coming into the team, when the way Keshav thinks, the way Ryan thinks, the way all the younger generation, Ramesh's daughter Rati, and all these younger generations, most of the people in, all of you here, the way you think, what you bring to the table, in terms of social media, in terms of the technology, that's useful. Now the combination of us, what we bring to the table and what you bring to the table, that's what the marriage between that is so useful. It's so necessary. And that is the strength and the confidence that you need to have in the leadership. And then, and I'll tell you, one of my good friends, Ajay was here, Ajay Dalka. And Ajay was here. Let me tell you one thing. Every leader who comes here, they bring something to the table. And Kanti always takes example of Ajay Ori. Ajay, none of us, we didn't know how to dress properly and how to tie the tie and things like that. Our ties used to be called samosa ties. Like this. AJ would come and adjust the tie like that. Slowly but surely, we learned certain things from AJ here. And look at the relationship. Ajay and Alka's both sons, Arjun and Viresh, are good friends with our kids. Kedar and Keshav, Devika, Ritika, Tarika, Kumar Nanju's daughters are good friends with our kids. Folks, the reason that they have become good friends because they see the love and the respect and the value of the relationship that we have within our teams, guys. That has to be your sense of security. You had seen, Ravi Chawla, his work ethic man, PhD, You had seen Vishal and Sonika Jain here this afternoon. Right now I'll tell you guys, if there's one organization that's cooking, having growth, is Vishal and Sonika's team in a big way, guys. I already spoke about Nick and Stephanie in New Star, for sure, in a big way. The passion, the leadership ability. He was influential in creating so many leaders, for sure. Nanda and Sangeeta, always in the hunt, the growth that they're having, guys. And our upline, Madhu Cheda. Amazing. And one of my good friends, Kankar and Sabina, for sure. The organization that they have, the leaders that they've created, the friendships that they've built within their team and across the team, guys. And of course, you just have brand new founders, EDC, Sugit and Kajal. Every time Sugit comes here, he can take anything and make a joke out of it. Some people have the ability, and I'll tell you what, Sugit and Kajal, both hardworking couple, they bring a lot to the table. And we have, Dave and Kim speak tomorrow, and Kulin and Meena will speak tomorrow. And TD and Suparna, brand new founders, EDC. Brand new founders, EDCs, guys. That's amazing. TD has got huge organization. Okay, folks, as I mentioned to you, the reason that we are here, the reason that we are so happy is because we have got tremendous friendship with founders, Double Diamonds, Kumar and Anjali in a big way. What they brought, I'll tell you what, I told about Kumar. The way he thinks is different, the way he acts is different. He's funny, caring, loving, and also, guys, listen, his brain works so sharp. And I'll tell you what, in the organization, he is one of the most unique guy who is so good at conflict resolutions. And the amount of trust that Kanti and Lata have on him is amazing. Guys, Kanti and Lata are super duper couple. I will love them so dearly. And the reason that the reason all of you and I, everybody in this room have got a super future is because of Kanti and Lata's example. And this business will last generations, guys. Come join us.